is going to change the trajectory of several people's lives, not knowing just how many lives Matthew touched even after his death. There are many questions we have as Matthew's family of what happened that night. And we know we will never get them, as God and Collin only know the answers. And that's hard on a mama's heart. Lawfully. Last night I slept well with my nephew. He laid in the crook of my arm, just like he did when he was a baby. There were no kicks, swinging of arms, or even sound from him. My hand softly ran circles upon the top of him. He's cold and he's heavy now. Not the memory I have of him in younger years. I feel my heart start to race, that familiar lump in my throat, and the biting of my lip. The tears begin to fall. My arms grow tired. Matthew has become so heavy now. It's cold and holds like little boy with curly hair. I can no longer go to the store, out to eat, or to any event. That all came to a sudden stop. I can't buy gifts for my son and celebrate birthdays or holidays with him. If he lives in another, his life was cut suddenly short, and all our work show that. My eyes slowly close and I drift off to sleep, only to wake with my little boy still at the crook of my arm. I pick him up and I put him back on the shelf where I see him every day. He's just there with the weeping willow tree cascading down upon him, which lights up all the time, reminding us of his loss and faithfulness.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hymas, is there anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Chandler? Oh, you do have one more.
For the record, this is Patty Johnson, Victims Advocate for the District Attorney's Office.
Yeah, the microphone's not on. Can you help, please?
For the record, this is Patty Johnson, Victims Advocate for the District Attorney's Office. Beside me is Kansas Gibbs. She's Matthew's sister. She asked me if I would read her statement today. The first thing I want to ask is why? Why did you do it? Why did you hit him, run over him, then move him to the side of the road like he was an animal? You didn't just kill my brother, you killed a part of me and my family. You took the life of someone. You didn't even know that you hit something, so you say, till 2 days after that you said you saw it on Facebook. You took an innocent 24-year-old life because you decided to drive under the influence. He wasn't just a brother, he was a son, cousin, uncle, nephew, grandson, and a friend. He was so kind-hearted, he would give you the shirt off his back if you asked him to. His life was never easy, but he didn't deserve to be taken out how you took it. Actually, it shouldn't have been taken at all. He had a full life ahead of him. He just put down a down payment on an apartment, and he was going to move in 1 short week. And after this happened, he was so successful in his life, and you had the nerve just to sit there and take it from him. My family and I never got to say goodbye. I remember the phone call I got at 3:30 in the morning because of you. I had one mom on the phone crying, telling me the news, while I had another mom on the phone just screaming and crying because of you. God says that we need to forgive the ones who have wronged us, but I don't know how I can ever forgive you, as you took my sibling and a brother, my mom's son, my father's son, my grandma's grandson, my cousin's cousin, and my son's uncle. There are many nights that my son just hugs a bear crying because he misses his uncle so much. I don't know what it's like to lose. You don't know what it's like to lose a sibling. It's a whole different type of hurt. The other night I had a dream he was still alive and he was walking into my room. And I said, Matthew. He said, yeah. I said, I miss you. And he said, I miss you too. I don't understand. I shouldn't have to dream him saying he misses me. He should be here to say that he misses me. Definitely when you're the oldest and you're supposed to protect the youngest. I have to live with the fact that my brother isn't here to see my son grow up. I have to live with the fact that we as a family don't get to have any more birthdays, Christmases, Thanksgivings, or anything when you have been able to be there. Getting to go to birthday parties, getting to spend time with your family, getting to laugh with friends. When you took the life of a person that will never get to do any of these things again. I don't think the sentence is long enough whatsoever for the lifetime of hurt and pain you are putting my family and his friends through because you decided to make wrong decisions.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else?
How's it going, Collin?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. I was kind of always, my name's Cody Brown, and I've grown up with Collin. So my cousin was Matthew. Didn't really know him as well as I should have. We all drift apart. But we forgive you. But you won't be judged by how and the things you've done. You've already been judged for that. How you recover from that and make the right changes and the right decisions is how you will be judged. That was told to me by a judge. Because I was making the same mistakes I feel you make and have made. God is the ultimate judge, but just try to do better.
Thank you. Anything else from the state, Mr. Hymas?
Yes, Your Honor, just a brief statement. I think these cases are the hard cases because there isn't a sentence that would make things better because it's a life. And so when you're looking at that, it's about trying to do right and trying to find justice in what the law allows. And unfortunately, the way the statute's written and the charge that fit the facts of this case without any of the prior criminal history that the defendant has, it'd only be 18 months. And that's really the painful and hard part, because how do you put a value on life, but how do you come to grips with that's the value that the state of New Mexico places on life in those facts? And so the sentence, isn't something that's powerful or people are going to be happy with. It's not something necessarily the state's happy with. It's something that's allowable under law that is right given, or that is just given the facts. And I want to clarify a couple things, and I know Mr. Chandler kind of hit on them when he heard them too. there's been this kind of misinformation out there about this case. Two of the big things are, one, that the defendant moved Matthew Gibbs or even dragged him off the road after the accident. There's no evidence of that. Police department found no evidence that showed that that is what happened. The scene doesn't match that. There's no eyewitness testimony. There's no evidence of that. If there was, there'd be different charges. And then two, the under the influence. There's no evidence that we have that we've been able to corroborate that tells us that prior to the accident, the defendant was under the influence. There's there's at least some people who came forward with information that potentially could be the case, but law enforcement was not able to corroborate any of that. Nothing that the police department did has shown us that. And so there's nothing to show that prior to the accident he was under the influence. And again, if that were the case, we would be looking at different charges. Now, I want to address something a little different. These cases are hard and they're emotional and people become invested and they have strong opinions, and I don't know that any of that's wrong. And I know Mr. Chandler's caught a lot of flack for his representation of the defendant. And, you know, in the adversarial system, it only works when the prosecution is at odds with the defense. I don't know Collin Guthals. I don't know the Guthals family. I'm not from Clovis. Their name means nothing to me. But I do think whatever criticism Mr. Chandler has received for representing him, although at times unwarranted, I think is fair. I think the criticism the state's received for offering this plea, I think it's fair. I think that's people's opinions, and you can feel strongly, short of, threats or anything of that nature. But I don't know that the criticism this court's received is fair at all. This court isn't involved in plea negotiations, isn't aware that there is a plea until it's filed with the two parties and it's been signed and it's all but agreed to. And so I think this court wrongfully received criticism, wrongfully was attacked about its impartiality, and none of that's shown in this case. It's been a contentious case between defense and I, and at no point has the court been partial. And so I think that criticism's been unwarranted. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chandler?
Judge, I'll just briefly tell the court that when I first got involved in this case, Your Honor, I was contacted by Collin and his family. And we went back and forth as to whether or not there would be representation, but every person that is charged with a crime deserves representation. And from the very get-go of this case, Judge, Mr. Guthals has informed me, I've informed the state that he understands that there's accountability for not making the certain steps to potentially contact law enforcement. No one in here knows, at least I don't believe that anybody in here knows that there would be any potential different results, but it's something that Collin wonders every day. And it's something that he's dealing with every day. As the state pointed out, and it's much appreciated, there has been a lot of information that has been thrown about with regard to Mr. Guthals. There's no information or evidence or even a suggestion that he was under the influence when this occurred. There's no information, evidence, or suggestion that he was even committing a traffic violation. The investigation to include a data extract from the vehicle indicates that all things were operating in normal condition and that Mr. Guthals was driving within the speed limits. This is a tragic accident. And Mr. Guthals understands that he has some things that he's got to work out from his past history. And that's the punitive part of this, is that he has 2 prior felony convictions. But although the state indicates that it's been contentious, it's been a legal battle with regard to looking through the evidence, but at no time was it unprofessional. The state allowed us to conduct interviews of every particular witness. We have gone out and done our own investigation, not only with the polygrapher, but also receiving information from 2 other citizens that almost, and obviously did not, but almost struck Mr. Gibbs at 14th and Oak and barely missed him in the roadway. Mr. Guthals has followed all of the conditions of the court. Since this has been imposed, there has been no violations. He has maintained, I think, some integrity throughout this process, as he has sat quietly, knowing that there's numerous conversations about him throughout this community. And as the state said, rightfully so, there's no one is here to judge anyone with regard to their thoughts or comments about this particular case. My heart goes out to the Gibbs family. Some of the comments, at least, well, all of the comments are appreciated this morning. And Mr. Guthals has a statement that he would like to give to the Gibbs family as well as the court and the community.
Okay, Mr. Guthals, we'll hear your statement now, sir.
Your Honor, can I push forward to do our case?
You can face however you like, but if you can just still make sure that the microphone can pick up your statement.
Yes, sir. I'm Collin Guthals, and I wrote this for the court and the family. To the Honorable Court, the family and friends of Matthew Gibbs, and the community. There are no words that can fully capture the remorse I carry in my heart, the nights I lay awake and the days I spend restless with thoughts on my head. Still, I write this letter in hopes that I may express just a fraction of remorse I feel for the tragic accident that took the life of Matthew Gibbs. To the family, please know that not one day passes that I don't think about Matthew and the pain that my actions have caused you. I want you to know that I truly did return to the scene of the accident 3 times that night to look for any signs of what may have happened or what my truck might have struck in the roadway. I never saw anything in the roadway or the surrounding areas other than part of my broken headlight. I never saw Matthew lying in the floor, and if I had, I promise I would have rendered aid without hesitation. Everything in my mind and heart and soul was trying to convince me that everything was going to be okay. That what I struck in the roadway was not a person. That no one had been seriously hurt or they would still be in or on near the roadway. I was truly convinced that the accident did not injure anyone severely because I could not find anything or anyone at the scene. I know that was tragically not the case. I carry the weight of this reality every day. To the court and the community, I understand the gravity of what has happened and the impact it has had on all who knew Matthew. I take full responsibility for my actions and the role I played in this tragedy. I understand that accountability is necessary, not just in words, but in actions. And I accept the consequences that have come before me as a result of this case. I know that my history cannot be erased or the things I've done undone. That I must now serve prison time as required by law due to my past. I recognize that forgiveness may never come, and if it does, it may take time. I understand, and I am willing to accept that. But I want you to know that from the bottom of my heart, I never meant to hurt anyone. I never meant to cause harm to anybody. And I live with the knowledge of my actions, and I truly am sorry.
Thank you, sir. Anything further, Mr. Chandler?
No, Your Honor.
Well, clearly when we hear the statements from the Gibbs family, there's just been such devastation and pain from the loss of Matthew, who it's pretty neat for the court to hear today was such a loving, strong young man and had so many neat things occurring in his life. And, you know, as the judge, I have no way to take the pain away that Matthew's family has experienced the last 16 and a half months, or to take the pain away that you're undoubtedly going to be experiencing forever. My hope is that people will remember Matthew's life, that he lived so well, and his memory, and that will inspire others to live life with an outward focus. I think if every one of us is like Matthew and we're thinking about others and we're living our life in an outward way, then we'll notice when we harm others, and we'll notice how our actions can affect other people. And I've already accepted the plea agreement, but I want everyone to understand that anytime a judge does a sentencing or takes a plea, we're considering three main factors. The first is the punitive factor that Mr. Chandler mentioned, or punishment. That is the part where Mr. Guthals is getting a 4-year prison sentence. But the most important factor for this court in this case is deterrence. I want this case to remind everyone that to be like Matthew, to live a good life, and we need to be safe. We need to help each other in our community, think about each other, be safe. And I think that Mr. Guthals receiving a 4-year prison sentence is going to deter others from leaving the scene of an accident in the future, or not render aid, or deter others from not realizing that their actions have such impacts on each other, on others. The other factor is rehabilitation, and we can only hope that Mr. Guthals' words are genuine today, and that his life that he lives from here on forward is something that can be in honor of Matthew and worthy of Matthew. And so I am and have accepted the plea agreement. Mr. Guthals is going to be sentenced to the term of prison and the following parole as ordered by the court. And I just want to end by wishing the Gibbs family the best from the court and the best in your healing journey. And I do appreciate so much the words that were shared about Matthew, as I feel like I've got to know him a lot better today. And please continue to share the words about Matthew so that others can feel that same feeling. I do thank both counsel for their efforts in this case and for bringing this case to resolution. And Mr. Guthals, I think it is important that you took responsibility for this and you accepted this plea agreement. And I do hope that and wish you luck as you do your term in prison. And I hope that if you rejoin our community in the near future, that it's in a positive way and worthy of Matthew. So, counsel, we are going to go over some paperwork. But at this time, is there anything further, Mr. Jaimes?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Chandler, would there be anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.